Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to today's live stream. And today we are focusing on IELTS writing task 2. As you probably know, task 2 is the same for general training IELTS and academic IELTS. So this lesson is going to be suitable for everyone. Basically, what we're doing today is I'm going to show you a task 2 question and we're going to work through that question together. So I'm going to get you to write the various parts of the essay, and I'll give you feedback on your vocab and your grammar. I'm going to get you to come up with the ideas we're going to use in the essay, and again, I'll be giving you feedback as to whether those ideas are suitable or not. So basically, we're working together to write an essay, but during that process, I'll be giving you feedback and explaining, what problems or what weaknesses you have. And then, of course, by learning what your own particular problems are, you're able to take action, fix those, and improve your scores. So that's the goal of today's lesson. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Lar, and I am the founder of Complete Test Success. I've helped hundreds and hundreds of people get their IELTS scores. I've been an IELTS examiner for writing and speaking. I've been teaching IELTS since 2010, so I have a lot of experience doing this. So you're in safe hands today. So to begin with, let's have a look at this question that we're going to focus on. So today's question: some people believe that children should begin formal education at a very early age. Others think they should start school when they are older. Discuss both views and give your own opinion. Now, there will be times when people see a question like this and they're going to ask, like, at a very early age. So I think like a common problem that students would have is, what does that mean? What is a very early age? And of course, it's subjective in that, like, you weren't told the specific age. So whatever you think is an early age is suitable. So if you think an early age is 4, that's fine. If you think an early age is 2, that's fine. You talk about that whatever way you think is appropriate. So the examiner is not going to look at it and go like, oh, no, you're wrong. You're saying an early age is 4, but I think an early age is 2. It doesn't matter. Whatever you decide that early age to be is absolutely fine. And it's up to you to make that decision. So don't overthink it. Whatever feels right to you, that's what you can talk about. So don't worry too much when you get questions like that. Don't feel like, it's a challenge because they didn't tell you the particular age. You can just take it. You can just take it as whatever way you understand it. Hi, Raxam John. I'm going to watch this video till the end. Very good. Welcome to the lesson. Please, I would like to talk about the difference between solid band 8 and 9 specifically. The difference is, it depends on each aspect. So if it's task response, where your idea is appropriate and did you develop them enough? It has to be the amount of development would be the difference between an 8 and a 9. For coherence and cohesion, it's, to be able to write the essay without drawing any attention to the coherence and cohesion, not overusing cohesive devices, not underusing them, using them accurately, using pronouns appropriately, having the paragraphing correct. So like, it's the same thing that would be like, the difference between a 7 and an 8, difference between an 8 and a 9 is like, you're just not making any mistakes. You're doing everything perfectly. Okay, guys, so the first task for today is to write the paraphrase of the question. So I want you to write the paraphrase, share it with me in the comments, and then I will be able to give you feedback on that. Okay, so that's the first task today. Write the paraphrase, share it with me in the comments, and then I'll be able to give you feedback. And then I'll take one of your paraphrases, add it to the screen, and we'll move on to the next part of the essay. For those of you who are not familiar with what that word paraphrase means, basically it means we take these 2 sentences and we rewrite them in our own words. Okay, we're going to rewrite them in our own words. You will probably need to copy some of the words from the question. That's normal and that's okay. The goal is to have your paraphrase. The goal is for your paraphrase to have the same meaning and for it to be clear. And during that, while you're making sure that those two things are appropriate, you'll change as many words as you can, but there will definitely be words you need to copy, and you shouldn't worry too much about that. That's to be expected. So Raxam John says, I got solid 8. I wanted 9. It was all of them 8, not 9. Yeah, so you're going to have to improve your vocab, your grammar. You're going to develop your ideas more appropriately and find out what mistakes you're making with coherence and cohesion and fix those. You know, so what mistakes you're making it's not necessarily that everyone gets a band 8 is going to get a band 8 for the same reasons. So, you know, you're going to need to get feedback on your writing, find out what problems you have, and then fix those. So I'll be giving you feedback on your writing today. So just get involved in today's lesson, and I'll have some feedback for you. I also do essay corrections on my in my academy. So, you know, I can give you full essay corrections, one-on-one support as well, if you need that. Okay, so here's our first paraphrase from Daya. Some people think that formal education should be started from a very young age, while others believe children should attend school when they reach older age. Yeah, that's okay. I think you've changed enough. So in terms of changing the vocab, it's enough. Of course, you know, if you were able to change a little bit more, that would be a little bit better, but we don't want to overcomplicate things. Okay, so I'm going to get yours. I'm going to add it to the screen, and I'm going to make a few little changes to it. So just give me a moment here to go onto YouTube and find that. Okay, so this is going to be the first part of our essay. So the question said some people, and you said some people. We can just say some. That's okay. You know, so let's just say some. The question said believe, you said think, that children should begin formal education, that formal education should be started from a very young age. So to be started, and maybe just should start from a very young age. And then you've combined the two sentences by using while. Good. While others, again, when it says others in the question, we can say other people. Just swap it around. So they said some people, we will say some. They said others, we will say other people. And that's completely fine. Believe and think and believe. Let's just change it another little bit, because these aren't two challenges. Let's say like feel that formal education, while other people are of the opinion that. Okay, and what have we left? You said children should attend school when they reach an older age. Others think they should start school when they are older. Okay, perfect. All right, so that's enough. So I've just fixed some small grammar mistakes and changed a few extra words. There are still words we're copying from the question, and that's absolutely fine. But that's good enough. So it has the same meaning and it's clear. I've just tidied up the grammar and made a few little changes to the paraphrase. Okay. So from there, our next step is to decide what ideas we are going to use. So that's my next task for you guys. For this question, decide which ideas are we going to use. Your ideas need to be relevant and specific. Those are the two requirements. So before you share an idea with me, make sure your idea is relevant and specific. If your ideas are not relevant or specific, of course, I will tell you that. I'll explain the problem once I see them. But that is the goal. Any idea that's going into your essay has to be relevant and specific. Those are the two main things we need to make sure of. So that's your next task. Share your ideas with me in the comments, and then I will give you some feedback on that. Okay. One school of thought contends that children should commence their formal education at a very early age, while others maintain that they should begin when they reach at least 7 years old. Yep, that's fine. So you've made a decision of what is an older age. So you've made that decision, and that's fine because the question doesn't say that specifically. Yep, so that's okay. Good. The word limitation is short, so can't finish my intro. Yeah, so you don't need to at the moment. All I'm looking for at the moment is the paraphrase. We'll work through it together. So at the moment, we just need the main ideas. Okay, and Sha, many individuals make sure to start your sentence with a capital letter. So in the word many, we need a capital M, a big M. Many individuals think that formal education in juveniles, we don't really use juveniles in that way. So we can just say that formal education for children should begin at a very early age. However, others argue that it's too early for them. Okay. Yeah, that's okay. I would personally keep it more strictly to what it said in the question. So others say they should start school when they are older. You say, instead of saying when they are older, you're saying that is too young, and a very early age is too early. It has the same meaning, but in general, I try to just be as direct as possible in the paraphrase. So what you've done isn't wrong, but it wouldn't be my recommendation. Okay, so I firmly support the latter viewpoint as it not only allows children to become ready mentally, but also plays a pivotal role in their academic performance for several compelling reasons. Now, what we want to do is just choose a specific idea. So they become ready mentally. Well, ready for what, I suppose? So that's a little bit unclear. What are they getting ready for mentally that would stop them from waiting until they're older? So that first idea is a bit unclear. And you're saying it has a pivotal role in their academic performance for several compelling reasons. We don't need several compelling reasons. We just need one. And the other problem then is that for this question type, we need to discuss both views, but you're only discussing your own view. So that would actually end up with a band 5 for task response. You're not discussing both sides. Okay, the primary reason why this is not recommended for children to attend school at the very early age is that they may not be mature enough to spend a couple of hours without their parents. Okay, good. Okay, so basically what we need is this. It just depends on what opinion we give. But instead of trying to think of the opinion first, we're going to try and think of the ideas first. So what we need is ideas to support starting very early, and then ideas to support starting older. Okay, so that's what we need. We need ideas to support these two views. So don't worry about writing your opinion yet. Don't worry about finishing the introduction. Right now, I just want to think of what ideas we're going to use. Because if we can think of two ideas for the first view, we'll say that we agree with the first view. If we can think of two ideas for the second view, we'll say that we agree with the second view. So instead of deciding on our opinion first, we're going to decide on our ideas first, and that will determine what we say in the essay. So at the moment, we're not looking to finish the introduction. I just want you to tell me what ideas we can use in our essay. Okay. So early age formal education because children's parents are busier, so they need qualified caretakers. Okay. So that's the reason why some people have the first view. That makes sense. And we had one from here as well for the other view, is that they're not mature enough to spend time away from their parents. Okay, so that's perfect. So we can do that. So we have, for the first view was parents need to work. So that will at least mean that the parents can get back into the workforce. And then the reason why they should start older is not mature enough. At the young age, they're not mature enough. They need to spend more time with their family. They need to kind of grow up a little bit first. Okay, perfect. So at the moment, we have one idea for each view. We just need one more We just need one more idea, and that will determine what we say our opinion is. Okay, so we want to find the ideas first, and we'll think about the, we'll use that to determine our opinion. Mental disability and difficulties to gain academic knowledge. So at a young age, they won't learn anything. Okay, that makes sense. And hi, Tui. Opinions are divided on the age that children should begin their formal education. While some suggest that children should attend school at a very young age, others believe they should start at, yep, everything there looks very good. Obviously, it's not finished. Oh, here's the rest. At an older age. This essay will discuss both viewpoints before showing my final thought. I want to put the opinion in the introduction. So your paraphrase is good, but I don't want to use this. I don't want to use that outline. Improved adaptability skills into academic fields. Okay, so Rax and John, what I see here is you are putting too much emphasis on using like fancy vocabulary. So instead of thinking of a specific idea we can talk about, you're trying to find like some kind of good vocabulary you can use. I want you to stop thinking about vocabulary in a way that, you know, you're using vocab to impress. I want you to use vocab as a way to communicate clearly. So at the moment, improved adaptability skills into academic fields. Can you just say that in easy words? What exactly is your idea here? So older people have improved adaptability skills. What are adaptability skills and how does it apply to, you know, going to school? So keep it simple. We need you to keep it simple and try and talk directly about the question. You know, here you're talking about mental disabilities. Like what? Some children will have mental disabilities. This is true, but it's not that older kids have fewer mental disabilities than younger kids. You know, it's, if you're born with a mental disability, you're going to have that for the rest of your life. So again, it seems like you're using vocabulary, but you don't really know what the words mean. You're focused too much on trying to sound good. Keep it simple. Choose an idea that's relevant and specific, and we'll go with that. Okay, guys. So we just need one more idea. Daya says, agree with starting early because children can learn how to socialize with others than their relatives. But they would do that when they start at an older age anyway. So it's not like that's a benefit of starting younger. Whereas when you see the first idea we had was, you know, parents need to work. So when they start younger, the parents can get back into the workforce and start making money. But they can't do that if they wait till they're older. There's a few more years before they can go back to work. The children aren't mature enough. So that's a difference between starting at a young age and starting at an old age. But now you're just talking about what do we learn at school, or they learn how to socialize with other people. They do that at a young age. They would also do that at an old age. So with this idea, you're not really talking about the difference between starting young and starting old. You're just talking about something that they would learn. Now, if you want to say that it's a benefit to learn that at a younger age, that's absolutely fine. You can say, you know, what is that benefit? So like if you have a kid learns to do this at 3 years old or a kid that learns this at 5 years old, are they not both learning it? Or is there some advantage to learning it at a younger age? If there is, we can talk about that, but we have to say it directly, because at the moment you're just talking about something kind of more general. You're not comparing starting young versus starting at an older age. If they spend more time at school from an early age, it would be easier for children to adapt to academic fields and areas, thereby making them well equipped with the academic environment. So in general, when you're trying to think of a main idea, you need to be able to write your main idea in a short number of words. 4 or 5 words is usually good. If you need, like, however many words this is, I don't know, let's say 20 or 30 words, I haven't counted it. If you need that many words to say what your main idea is, it's still kind of a concept. You're kind of imagining a situation, but you haven't pinpointed your main idea. So the best thing you can do when you're writing down your main ideas, 4 or 5 words is good. Like our first one, parents need to work, 4 words. Not mature enough, 3 words. You know, like if you can narrow your idea down to 3, 4, 5 words, then you'll be more confident you know exactly what your idea is. And then when you need to say what your idea is, you can say it very directly and concisely to the reader, as opposed to like, you know, here's half my paragraph is trying to communicate what my idea is. And then when I'm developing the idea, I don't have as many words or as much time left for the development because it took me so long to state it. So reduce it to 4 or 5 words. That's always a good guideline when you're trying to establish what main ideas you're using. To lay a foundation for lifelong learning. Again, I would say you're not really comparing starting at a very young age versus starting at, you know, an older age. Like if I have a kid who starts school at 3 and I have a kid who starts school at 5, why would the kid who starts at 5 not be laying a foundation for lifelong learning? Why would the kid who started at 3, like I don't understand why the one who starts at 3 has something that the one who starts at 5 doesn't, you know? So again, we're trying to imagine the difference between those two groups of children and why it would be good or bad to start at 3, or why it would be good or bad to start at, you know, an older age than that. Children can learn quicker if they start earlier. Yeah, we can say that. Now, you're saying maybe, as in maybe, is it true? It doesn't even matter if it's true. That, like, the fact is, your ideas don't need to be correct. Like, I'm not giving you a good score because you're very knowledgeable on this topic, or, you know, you've read research papers on the topic. Your ideas don't have to be correct. They don't need to be factually correct. They need to be relevant and specific. So when you say maybe, you're saying, I don't know if that's true. Honestly, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Is it relevant? Yes. Is it specific? Yes. Perfect. That's all we need. We don't need anything else. So we can add this. Children can learn quicker. Okay. So I'm going to say my opinion. I'm going to support starting early because they can learn quicker. Now, whether that's true or not really doesn't matter. Okay, so now I'm ready to finish my introduction. So I'll say, this essay will discuss both views, although it is my opinion that it's better to start early because they can learn faster. They can learn more quickly at a young age. Okay, perfect. So now we've paraphrased the question, we've outlined our essay, and we've given our opinion. Okay, so that there is our introduction. Fantastic. Okay, so now we are going to write our first body paragraph. Our first body paragraph is based on this idea here. Parents need to work. So we're going to say, those who support the idea that children should start their education at a very early age see the feel that it's better for the parents to rejoin the workforce. Okay, so there is the first sentence of body paragraph 1. I'm just going to move it up because obviously we need to be able to see the question. All right, so I'm moving it around. Obviously, this is going to be the second. This is going to be the second paragraph of our essay. But I just want to have it next to the question so you guys can still look at the question when we are developing this. Okay, so the next task that we have then is to develop this idea. We're going to need to write about 70 words in this paragraph. So we've written our main idea. That there is, let me just check the word count, 27 words. So we'll call it 30 just to make it easy. So we need to write about another 40 words where we're going to explain this, we're going to give examples of this, we're going to, basically we're going to develop this. So that's my next task for you. Decide how we can develop this idea. Share your development with me in the comments, and again, I'll give you feedback on how we can improve. How can we improve on what you've written or what mistakes you're making? Okay, so as you're doing that, I'll continue giving feedback on the other writing that was shared. Okay, so at a younger age, it's important to do activity-based learning, learning through playing. School education can be too academic for them to process at an early age. When you're more focused on, how we are going to, there's nothing in the question that says we're not going to teach them in the way that you're suggesting. Like there's nothing says like, oh, well, if they begin at an early age that we're not going to teach them with activity-based learning. Why would you think, sorry, that might sound a bit rude or a bit direct, but there's no reason to think that that's not what will happen when they go to school at an earlier age. Like, why would they choose a bad way to teach them instead of a good way to teach them? So there's nothing saying how they will be taught. It's just at what age they will begin. So that idea would actually be irrelevant. When children are at a young age, it's easier to guide them to follow discipline. Absolutely, yes. Yes, we can, teach them to follow the rules more easily. They're more impressionable. Yes, yep, that would make sense as well. We could have used that as the third idea. Children learn faster when younger. Yes, again, relevant and specific. That's the third idea we already chose. Yep, perfect. Okay, so like I said, develop this idea, share it with me in the comments, and then I'll have feedback for you. Okay, so Daya again. In most cases, it is common for people to take parental leave so that their children are raised well enough if they send their children to school as early as 4 years old. Yeah, that's all looking good so far. Oh, just one thing I would say. You said in most cases it is common. You only need one of those. So when you're saying in most cases, you're saying it's common. And when you're saying it is common, you're saying in most cases. So that you're really, that's unnecessary to say both. So choose one, whichever one, that's fine. And I think their children are raised well enough doesn't really collocate well. So just their children are raised well, that's enough. If they send their children to school as early as 4 years old, yeah. One thing I would say as well with that is try to get directly into the topic. Why do we want them to rejoin the workforce? So rather than explaining why they're not working, but more like, the benefits of the children going back earlier, starting school earlier allows the parents to go back to the workforce earlier. So try to get directly into it rather than kind of like here's some background information about what happens. Just say directly into the benefits of it's better because parents can rejoin the workforce. How does that happen, or why does that happen when the children go to school earlier? So, try to be more direct as well. Okay, so Tui, considering that if young children wait for several years before going to school, at least one of the spouses, well, say the parents, at least one of the parents must stay at home to care for them. This means one parent cannot go to work, which not only hinders his or her career development, but also takes away one income source of the family, potentially leading to the family's financial insustainability. Financial instability, I think, is what you're looking for there. But yeah, this looks good. So let me add that to the screen. Okay, so there are a few little things that we want to tidy up, but overall, that all looks good. So I've just copied and pasted that from YouTube. So just give me a second to kind of get it looking right, because it was in 2 comments. Okay, it's quite long, to be honest. That might even be too long. So that's 89 words. So let's say that's 90 words. When we have 3 ideas, we'd aim to write about 70 words for each idea. Just because of the time limitations, we only have 40 minutes. So the concern would be if we try to write 90 words for every idea, we end up with a longer essay, perhaps longer than we need, but we don't have enough time to read it and check for mistakes and try and fix mistakes. So, that it's not that more is bad, only that we don't really have enough time, so you have to manage your time correctly as well. Okay, so what we have then is considering that if young children wait. Okay, so I think considering that is unnecessary. Let's say when young children wait for several years before going to school, at least one of the parents needs to stay at home to take care of them. Okay, good. This means one parent cannot go to work, which not only hinders his or her career development, but also takes away one income source from the family, potentially leading to, I think, financial instability rather than the family, because we weren't talking about a specific family. We're just talking in general about, what happens in this situation. So the article there isn't quite right there. And I think instability is the word you were looking for. Financial instability. I believe that's the one we were looking for. Okay, so for task response, it's certainly not a bad thing to have a longer paragraph, but for our time management, it could be an issue. And consider as well, like if we write 90 words for one idea, but only 70 words for the other ideas, the additional words for this idea doesn't really help. It only helps if we were to write 90 words for every idea. Having more development for one idea and less development for the others doesn't really count. It's each idea has to be developed equally. And whichever idea has been developed the least, that's the one that will determine the score, or whatever the biggest problem is. Like if one of the ideas is irrelevant, that will determine the score. So just be careful in terms of how much you write. Okay, so that's paragraph 1. So let me kind of shuffle things around here. So we had our introduction already. I'm going to drop body paragraph 1 under that. And then we can move on to body paragraph 2. So body paragraph 2 is discussing the second view. So it's going to be, however, those who feel it's better that children wait until they're older to start school worry that the young children are not mature enough. Okay, so same thing again. Now we need to develop this idea so that it's about 70 words long. So again, we have about 24 words written here. So we need another 45 words. roughly 45 words to finish this. Try not to write too much, because when we write too much, we run out of time. So that's an important part of preparing yourself for the test as well, is making sure you can easily finish your task 1 and task 2 in 60 minutes. A lot of students will have written many, many essays, but they've never sat down and written a task 1 and a task 2 at the same time in 60 minutes. So then when they go to do the test, it'll be the first time they've ever actually done that. And obviously that's not ideal. When you're in the test, ideally you'll be doing something you've done many, many times before. Okay, so I'm going to leave that with you. Write down how you're going to develop this idea. Again, share it with me in the comments and I'll have feedback for you on that. They will be able to continue their employment to make ends meet better. Is make ends meet? That might be informal, is it? It feels informal. I would worry that that's formal. I would worry that that's informal. I wouldn't use that just in case. Sorry for the typos. No problem. You're fine. Absolutely no problem at all. Hey, Ty. Good to see you here. Welcome to the lesson. Children going to school early helps parents to be productive at the workplace without staying at home for so long. Yeah, good. Are they in the workplace if they're at home? So is it about being productive in the workplace, or is it about being in the workplace? I would say it's more about being in the workplace. So remember, the first letter of your sentence has to be a capital C. So children going to school early helps parents to go to the workplace, maybe, rather than be productive. Because are you saying that they're in the workplace but they're not being productive, or they're not in the workplace? So now there's kind of too many factors involved. You're making it more complicated. So we'll just say to go to the workplace, because they don't have to stay at home for so long. Can I just write 2 body paragraphs and agree with one of them? Would that be acceptable? Yeah, there are different ways to write it. So you could write 2 body paragraphs where you're just going to put your opinion in the introduction and the conclusion. You can write 2 body paragraphs where you will kind of comment on each view at the end of the body paragraphs. I personally prefer to just fully develop my own opinion, because then I feel like I've fully addressed everything. I've fully developed each idea. I've explained my own opinion. I personally just prefer 3 body paragraphs, 1 for the first view, 1 for the second view, 1 for my opinion. Each body paragraph is 70 words long and focuses on a different idea. I just feel like there's no stone left unturned. And I think especially if you're aiming for a band 9, you really just can't give the examiner any excuse to give you, a lower score. So I just feel doing it that way just really, really ticks all the boxes. But yes, we can do it the way you suggested as well, definitely. And for me, what I'm talking about is more a preference rather than a strict requirement of the IELTS test, Okay, so first in here for body paragraph 2 is Tui. Very young children's cognitive ability, that would have to be plural, cognitive abilities are often not fully developed. their ability to develop an ability. Okay, yeah. Because of this, if they are sent to school at this age, maybe, subjects that require logical thinking like maths or foreign languages can be extremely challenging for them. This could result in bad academic performance at school, which may undermine children's confidence in their academic pursuits. Yeah, I like it. Very good. So again, let me just grab that from YouTube and I'll add it to the screen. Okay. Okay, so let's start from the start. Again, is that a bit long? Maybe not so much this time. 80 words, yeah, so not too bad. Okay, so however, those who feel it's better that children wait until they're older to start school worry that the young children are not mature enough. Very young children's cognitive abilities are often not fully developed. I'd actually just continue that as the same sentence. You just go like, and because of this, if they are sent to school at that age, or at a young age, or if they're sent to school too young, no, at a young age, let's do that. Subjects that require logical thinking. I'm not sure if that works. Logical thinking, cognitive abilities. I'm going to leave it there. I'm not sure. It doesn't feel right, but I don't know how to fix it. So I'm going to leave it there for now. Like maths or foreign languages can be extremely challenging for them. This could result in bad academic performance at school, which may undermine children's confidence in their academic pursuits. Yep, good. I like it. Very good. All right, this essay is coming together nicely. So we had our introduction, body paragraph 1 about the first view, and here's body paragraph 2 about the second view. And now we have one more paragraph about our own opinion. Okay, so let's just drop this in here. So let's say my own opinion is that starting early is more beneficial as they can learn more quickly at this age. Now, am I being contradictory here? So I'm saying they can learn better at a young age, but then over here, I said that they cannot learn better at a young age. So this is going to be contradictory. So we're going to have to remove this. On its own, that was perfect. Why are they not mature enough? Because their brains aren't developed enough to study well. But that would be fine, except that now up here, I'm saying that they can't learn as well at that age. So that just doesn't make sense. I'm going to say the reason it's good is because they can learn well, and the reason it's bad is because they can't learn well. That's contradictory. We can't do that. So even though what we had here made sense within the context of this paragraph, it doesn't make sense when we look at the essay. Okay, so let me just see if we had any other ideas there that we could use before we move on. So your idea, Tui, was absolutely fine, but not when we compare it with the other one. Okay, given that the schedule of formal education generally matches working time for adults, parents can focus on their jobs if their children start learning at a younger age, leading to better job prospects. Plural. Yes, good. And then a full stop. Older children tend to behave well and be more cooperative with their teachers at school as they are more mature to follow instructions. This is important as school teachers will not be overwhelmed. Perfect. We can use this when we're talking about the maturity. Okay, so we're going to swap that in because it makes more sense considering the context. Okay. So older children tend to behave better because we're comparing with the younger ones. To behave better, to be better behaved, and more cooperative with their teachers at school as they are more mature. Which allows them to follow instructions more easily. This is important as school teachers will not be overwhelmed with difficult classroom management challenges. Okay, good. So now we're back on track where that development won't contradict what we're saying in the next paragraph. That one's 67 words. That's enough. We don't need more than that. About 70 is good. So that brings us back to body paragraph 3. So we're ready to get started on this now. So my opinion is that starting early is more beneficial as they can learn more quickly at this age. So again, over to you guys again. How can we develop this idea? Share your ideas, share what you think is suitable in the comments. And again, I'll have feedback for you on that. Okay. It's the development for the first idea. Yeah, no problem. I saw that. Sorry, I was planning to use this as my own opinion. So you were jumping ahead. Young age is easier to guide them to follow discipline. Okay, so if we go back to what you said, Yeah. Perfect. That makes sense. Okay, so let me grab that again and we'll add it. We'll add it to this paragraph instead. Okay. So I'll have to make the same corrections again, but that's okay. All right, my own opinion is that starting early is more beneficial as they can learn more quickly at this age. Very young children's cognitive abilities are often not fully developed. And because of this, if they are sent to school at a young age, subjects that require logical thinking like maths and foreign languages can be extremely challenging for them. This could result in bad academic performance at school, which may undermine children's confidence in their academic pursuits. Yeah, perfect. That makes complete sense in that context. Good. All right. So that's that paragraph done. Okay, so we're very nearly done. All the hard work is done. We just need to write a conclusion. Okay. So our introduction, we paraphrased the question, outlined the essay, and gave our opinion. First body paragraph about the first view. Second body paragraph about the second view. Third body paragraph about our opinion. And now the conclusion is quite straightforward. We just need to repeat the 3 main ideas and our opinion. Okay, so in conclusion, some people feel it's better for children to start school at a very young age because, now I don't even remember what the idea was. I'll have to go back up and check. For the parents can go back to work because this allows the parents to rejoin the workforce more quickly, while others feel that it's better for children to wait until they are slightly older so that, and now what was the second idea? So that they are more mature. So that they are more mature. I personally believe that, I'll just rob this from the plan we had. I personally believe that starting earlier is better, as they can learn more quickly at this age. Done. That is the full essay finished. Okay. So some good input. And look, the thing is, some of you were making mistakes and I was pointing out your mistakes and telling you what you did wrong. I mean, that's information that's very beneficial for you guys, because once you start to understand what mistakes you're making, that's the key to improving your scores. You know, like the students on my course, pretty much like the first half of my course is teaching them what to do. The second half of the course is getting them to try doing it, looking at what they're doing wrong, telling them what their mistakes are, and then guiding them through the process of fixing their mistakes. So, you know, that's very, very important. If you don't know what you're doing wrong, you can't fix it. You know, just like if you go to a doctor, step one is find out what's wrong, then figure out how to fix it. So step one, if you don't know what your problems are, you can't fix them. Simple as that. Okay, do I have any other comments here? I'll just go through the comments that are left and then we'll finish up for today. Okay, so we saw that one already. I didn't mean it. I'm not sure what you're talking about there. If so, we need to change the topic sentence. We need to change it to, I think children should start school at an older age. Do we? Did I get confused? Abilities are often not fully developed. You're 100% right. My own opinion, and by the way, this would be a band 5. If I wrote this would be a band 5 for task response. So yeah, you're 100% right. My own opinion is that starting school later is more beneficial, as they can learn more quickly at this age. Very young children's cognitive ability often fully developed. Yeah. So then I need to change it down here. Later is better. Thank you for pointing that out. That would have been a disaster for our IELTS score. That although it is my opinion that it is better to start later because they can learn more quickly at an older age. Yeah, well spotted. Thank you. I didn't spot that myself, so I got twisted around a little bit there. You're sorry you made me confused. I would blame myself for that, not you. But yeah, thank you for pointing that out. Okay, guys, so that's it for today. Of course, I'll be back next week with another live stream. We'll focus on another part of the test. And if you guys want one-on-one support, I do have courses available and correction services. Just reach out to me there on my email address, lar@completetestsuccess.com. Or you will see a link to my academy in the video description as well. Okay, some very good work from you guys there today. See you all next time.